Your friend tells you the news, they got the promotion, they bought the house, they met someone, their work is finally being noticed. You are happy for them. At least, part of you is. But somewhere between their first sentence and your congratulations, your own life changes shape. The room is the same. Your work is the same. Nothing has been taken from you. Yet what felt meaningful 10 minutes ago now feels late, unimpressive, or small. This is what comparison can do. It does not have to change your circumstances. It only has to change the measure you use to judge them. Another person's visible progress becomes a borrowed ruler, and one difference begins to sound like a verdict on your whole life. That is the pattern we are going to examine. Not how to stop noticing people, not how to pretend you never feel envy or grief, but how to recognize the moment information about someone else becomes evidence against you. Near the end of John's Gospel, Peter receives a personal command from Jesus. Then Peter turns, notices another disciple, and asks about that man's future. Jesus does not explain the other path. He turns Peter's attention back to the call already in front of him. That turn matters, because comparison often begins with the same movement. The trigger is not always a stranger showing off online. Sometimes it is someone you love. A younger colleague reaches the level you have been working toward. A sibling's family seems to move from one milestone to the next. A friend announces a pregnancy while you are carrying a private grief. Someone with less experience receives the opportunity you wanted. Another church grows. Another creator finds an audience. Another person seems comfortable in a body you have spent years fighting. The ache does not make you cruel. It may mean the thing matters. You may truly want companionship, meaningful work, stability, health, recognition, children, beauty, influence, or relief. Comparison can uncover that desire. It can also reveal a real difference in opportunity. People do not begin with equal resources, support, safety, health, or freedom. Some gaps are not imagined. Some deserve action, mourning, or honest anger. So the answer cannot be a cheerful command to stop comparing and be grateful. Gratitude cannot be used to silence grief. Faith cannot be used to deny disappointment. The more useful question is this: what conclusion did the comparison ask you to draw? There is a difference between saying, "I want what they have," and saying, "Because they have it, my life means less." There is a difference between learning from someone's progress and placing your entire life beneath it. There is a difference between recognizing a gap and turning that gap into an identity. Often those differences disappear so quickly that we do not notice the exchange. A colleague's promotion becomes proof that you are falling behind. A friend's marriage becomes proof that you were forgotten. Someone else's confidence becomes proof that you are defective. Their visible answer becomes evidence that God is silent toward you. The other person's life is no longer simply a life. It has become a measuring instrument. And once that happens, the comparison is no longer asking what you can learn. It is asking what their life proves about yours. Psychologists use the term social comparison for the way we evaluate ourselves in relation to other people. It is ordinary. Human beings learn from examples. We look around to understand what is possible, what is expected, where we stand, and what may need to change. An upward comparison happens when the other person appears further ahead on a dimension that matters to us. That comparison is not automatically destructive. It can teach. It can motivate. If their path feels relevant and possible, it may even expand our sense of what we can do. But upward comparison can also produce contrast. Instead of their progress feeling like evidence of possibility, it makes your present position feel lower. Imagine two marks on a page. Your mark has not moved. Then a taller mark is drawn beside it. Suddenly yours looks short. That is not because the first mark changed, the reference point changed. In real life, this happens through attention. The mind selects one visible dimension, and gives it unusual weight. Income, marriage, appearance, audience, productivity, certainty. One part of another person's life moves to the foreground, while the rest of the picture becomes faint. You see the outcome, but not every starting point. You see the house, but not the debt, support, timing, sacrifice, or ordinary complexity behind it. You see the finished work, but not the revisions, relationships, failures, access, health, or cost. Restoring context does not mean assuming the other person is secretly miserable. Their good may be real. Their achievement may be deserved. The point is simpler. A visible result is incomplete information, yet comparison often treats it as a complete measure. The loop can unfold like this. First, something becomes important to you. Perhaps it has always mattered, or perhaps a recent loss made it tender. Second, another person's visible position becomes the active reference point. Third, attention magnifies the distance and removes differences in history, values, resources, and calling. Fourth, the distance becomes a verdict. Not merely, they are there and I am here, but they are ahead, so I am behind. They were chosen, so I was rejected. Their life is expanding, so mine must be shrinking. Finally, you begin searching for relief from the verdict. You scroll for someone below you. You dismiss the person above you. You work harder without asking why. You withdraw because their happiness now hurts. Or you keep checking the same evidence, hoping it will somehow stop meaning what you have told yourself it means. Research finds meaningful links between unfavorable comparison and emotional distress, especially in clinically relevant groups. But that does not mean comparison caused a person's depression or anxiety. It means this pattern can become part of how distress is organized and maintained. Online platforms can intensify the opportunity. They place many lives beside one another and make visible milestones easy to count. But the platform is not the whole explanation. Comparison existed at dinner tables, workplaces, marketplaces, families, and places of worship long before the first feed. The deeper mechanism is not the screen. It is the borrowed measure. And the hardest comparisons are not always with celebrities. Often they are with people near enough to feel relevant. Someone your age, someone in your field, someone who began when you began. Their success feels close enough to count as a judgment. Yet even then, the comparison does not tell you the whole truth. It tells you that a difference exists. The verdict is the part added afterward. When another person's life becomes the measure, their good can begin to feel like your loss. That changes relationships. You may avoid someone you genuinely love because being near them activates the verdict. You may minimize their achievement so you can breathe again. You may offer congratulations while privately collecting reasons their success should not count. The pattern also changes how you see your own life. Ordinary good becomes invisible because it does not answer the comparison. Work that mattered yesterday now feels embarrassing. A quiet relationship seems unimportant beside a public milestone. Slow growth feels like no growth. Even achievement may not solve it. If worth is established by position, every finish line creates a new group of people further ahead. The ruler keeps moving. Comparison can also distort prayer. Instead of bringing a real desire to God, you begin presenting another person's life as evidence in a case against your own. Why them? Why not me? What does their answer say about my value? Those questions may come from sincere pain. They should not be mocked. But if the hidden demand is comparative proof, no ordinary answer will be enough for long. You will not only need something good, you will need it to establish that you are not less than someone else. At that point, the problem is larger than the milestone. You have handed another person's path, the authority to define the meaning of yours. John chapter 21 begins after the resurrection. Peter and several other disciples are by the Sea of Tiberias. They have fished through the night and caught nothing. From the shore, Jesus directs them to cast the net again. The catch is so large they struggle to draw it in. When they come to land, there is a fire, bread, fish, and a meal. This setting matters. Peter is not meeting Jesus inside an abstract lesson about confidence. He is standing before the risen Christ within a story of failure, restoration, discipleship, and witness. After they eat, Jesus speaks to Peter. 3 times he asks whether Peter loves him. 3 times Peter answers, and 3 times Jesus gives him responsibility for the flock. The exchange recalls Peter's denials, but John does not leave Peter staring backward. Jesus gives him work shaped by love. Feed my lambs, feed my sheep. Then the conversation becomes costly. Jesus speaks about Peter's future, including the manner of death by which Peter would glorify God. After this, Jesus says, "Follow me." This is not a promise that Peter's individual path will be comfortable, visible, or comparable to anyone else's. It is a call grounded in the authority of the one Peter is following. Then Peter turns. He sees the disciple whom Jesus loved following behind them. This is the disciple who had leaned near Jesus at the supper and asked who would betray him. Peter sees him and asks, "Lord, and what shall this man do?" The Gospel does not tell us exactly why Peter asks. Maybe he is curious. Maybe he cares about the other disciple. Maybe, after hearing about his own difficult future, he wants to know whether the same cost awaits someone else. Maybe several motives are present at once. We should not place a diagnosis in the silence of the text. John does not say Peter was jealous. He does not say Peter felt inferior. He does not say Peter suffered from a comparison problem. What John gives us is the direction of Peter's attention and the direction of Jesus' reply. Peter has just been addressed personally. He has been restored, entrusted with people to serve, told something of the cost, and commanded to follow. Then his attention turns toward the path of another disciple. Jesus answers with a hypothetical, "If he wills that the other disciple remain until he comes, what is that to Peter?" Then the command returns, "Follow thou me." Jesus does not explain the other disciple's timeline, so Peter can compare assignments. He does not reassure Peter that both paths will look equally important. He does not rank them. He does not tell Peter that the other disciple's future is irrelevant. He establishes a boundary. The will of Jesus for that disciple does not cancel the call Jesus has given Peter. The next verse shows how necessary the boundary was. A saying spreads among the believers that the other disciple would not die. John corrects it. Jesus had not promised that outcome. He had spoken hypothetically while redirecting Peter. Even the unanswered comparison could become a story people carried beyond what Jesus actually said. The words, "What is that to thee?" can sound severe to modern ears. They should not be turned into a slogan for selfishness. Jesus is not teaching Peter to stop caring about other disciples. Peter has just been commanded to care for Christ's sheep. Nor is "Follow thou me" a message of private self-fulfillment. Peter's path includes service, surrender, and suffering. The center is not Peter's uniqueness. The center is Christ's authority. That is what makes the passage useful here. Comparison asks whether another person's path changes the meaning of the call in front of you. Jesus' answer does not make the other path smaller. It places both paths under his will and returns Peter to the responsibility already spoken. Peter does not need to know that his story will look equal before he can follow. He does not need comparative reassurance before obedience becomes meaningful. He has been addressed. Psychology and John 21 are not saying the same thing in different languages. Research helps us describe a human pattern. We use other people as reference points. Sometimes the comparison teaches or inspires. Sometimes contrast makes our unchanged life feel reduced. Attention highlights one distance, drops context, and turns difference into a judgment. John 21 is not a study of that mechanism. It is a resurrection narrative about Jesus, Peter, commission, cost, and discipleship. Yet it brings a theological boundary to the place where comparison becomes controlling. Another person's path may contain information for you. It may awaken a desire. It may reveal an injustice. It may show what is possible. You may be called to learn, change, speak, grieve, prepare, or pursue. But their path cannot finally tell you whether your life is worthy of love or whether your present faithfulness matters. That is the difference between information and verdict. Information may tell you they reached something you want. The verdict says their arrival proves you were forgotten. Information may expose a skill you need to develop. The verdict says their visibility makes your work worthless. Information can lead to honest action. A verdict consumes the whole identity. The biblical response is not to prove that your life is secretly better. That would leave comparison in charge. You would still need a ranking. You would simply want to win it. Jesus does not restore Peter by telling him that his future will be more impressive than the other disciples. He returns Peter to love, service, cost, and following. This means freedom from comparison may not feel like sudden confidence. It may feel like releasing a question you cannot answer and taking responsibility for something much smaller than the milestone that triggered you. You can be happy for another person and still feel grief. You can admit that you want what they have, without concluding that their good is evidence against you. You can learn from their life without asking it to judge yours. And you can follow before you know how your path will look beside theirs. The next time comparison makes your life contract, do not begin by commanding yourself to feel grateful. Start by finding the measure. Complete one sentence. After seeing their life, I started measuring mine by this standard. Be precise. Speed, income, marriage, appearance, recognition, certainty, children, influence, spiritual visibility. The purpose is not to shame the desire. It is to stop one dimension from judging the whole life. You may truly need change, but I want more stability is different from I am worthless because they reached stability first. Next, restore context. Ask what the comparison has removed. Did you compare their finished result with your unfinished process? Their public outcome with your private struggle? Their current season with your entire history? Do not invent a tragedy behind their success. You do not need their life to be worse in order for yours to matter. Simply remember that one visible outcome is not a complete account of either person. Then name the honest desire beneath the ache. Perhaps the promotion represents respect. The house represents safety. The relationship represents being known. The audience represents contribution. The confident body represents freedom from years of self-consciousness. When the desire has a name, you can decide what kind of response it needs. Some desires invite a plan. Some require a conversation. Some need grief. Some need patience. Some must be released. Some reveal an injustice that deserves concrete action. This is more honest than repeating, I should not compare. It turns the feeling into information without allowing it to become a verdict. Finally, return to the responsibility already in front of you. Peter had been given a direction before he asked about the other disciple. Your situation will not mirror his, and not every decision comes with a direct command. But the question remains useful. What has actually been given to me to love, repair, learn, or do next? The answer may be unremarkable. Send the application, practice the skill, keep the appointment, rest, ask for help, make the budget, apologize, encourage the person whose good news exposed your ache. Pray honestly instead of performing gratitude. Care for the person already beside you. None of these actions guarantees that you will receive the same outcome. That is not their purpose. Their purpose is to return your agency to the life you are actually living. One more sentence may help. Their good is real, and my life is not thereby reduced. You may not feel that sentence immediately. Do not use it as a spiritual test. Let it name a direction rather than pretend the ache has disappeared. And remember the limits of this reflection. If comparison is bound up with persistent depression, severe anxiety, disordered eating, compulsive platform use, or major impairment, a video is not enough. Qualified support may matter. If the gap involves abuse, discrimination, unsafe work, medical danger, or financial crisis, do not rename material harm as a mindset problem. The goal is not to become blind to differences. It is to see them without allowing one of them to define the whole of you. Your friend's news is still good. Your disappointment may still be real. But the announcement does not have to become a verdict. The room did not shrink. The work in front of you did not lose its meaning. A different measuring line entered the moment, and for a while, you mistook it for the truth. You can notice the measure. You can name the desire. You can refuse to make another person's path smaller, just to make your own feel safe. Then you can turn back toward the life that has actually been placed in your hands. Not because you have proved it is more impressive, not because you know how its timing will compare, but because another person's road cannot walk yours for you. So when their progress makes your own life feel small, ask one quiet question. What has their life shown me, and what have I wrongly allowed it to decide?